that. And that makes you very valuable to an employer. The other thing you can do is to actually look at a weakness that you used to have and then turn that around by saying, well, that's a weakness that I used to have, and actually I'm much better at that now because this is how I've solved the problem. This is how I've upskilled, or this is how I've retrained myself. So once you've identified a problem and you either in the past have created a solution or you already have a plan in mind to solve that in the future, that makes you very valuable. And therefore, you've just turned a weakness into a strength. Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? And there are two ways of answering this question. Firstly, if the job that you're being interviewed for is your dream job, okay, then you need to remember to tell them that. And you say, well, to be honest, I really hope I'm going to be here in 5 years' time because this is the job I've always wanted. And it's very important to tell them that you really are looking forward to working within their organisation for all of that time, and that in 5 years' time you would sincerely hope that you would be a very valuable member of their team. So if this is not your dream job, you need to show them that you have short-term goals and long-term goals, and that they're actually very solidly fixed within that long-term plan. So you need to say, well, actually, this is absolutely the job that I want right now, because this is where I'm headed, and I know that if I'm hugely successful at this and I do a great job, then I'm on my path to take me to where I want to be. Now you've just told them that you're going to do your darndest to make sure that you are hugely successful on their behalf in the position that they want you to fill. So here's a great question. Why do you want to work here? And that's a question that, if you remember when you profiled the company, and I told you to Google the company, and I told you to work out an actual profile and look at their branding and look at what motivates them, this is your opportunity to say, well, actually, I really like your company because I like what you do, I like what your aims are, I like what your philosophy is, I really admire your mission statement, and that's why I want to work with you, because I think I'm a good fit for you, and I think I like the type of organisation that you are. If I were to talk to somebody you've worked with in the past, what kind of things would they say about you? Now, this is a perfect opportunity to offer references, third-party references, which are hugely valuable to you, because you get an opportunity to say how great you are without actually saying, I think I'm great, because you're saying, my last boss thought I was great, or that boss thought I was great. So therefore, you get an opportunity to give a third-party referral whilst you tell them the skills you have that are going to be of value to them. So that's a very valuable question, and once you work out that you just want to say 3 things about yourself within that, you can work out what are the 3 things that are going to be most advantageous to the employer that you're being interviewed by. So are there any questions that you think that you might have a difficulty answering if you were asked at interview?
If I'm asked at interview what my salary expectations are, how do I answer that?
That's a very good question, because it's one that makes us all feel very uncomfortable, because nobody likes talking about money. But there are very simple ways of answering the question. One of the things that you could do is actually go online and on some of the recruitment sites research the job that you're going for and see what's the highest figure and what's the lowest figure. You may also want to look at the advertisement that was placed by the company, because they may actually have offered a guideline on the amount that they're offering. If you're not happy to work for that, then what you need to do is you need to enter a negotiation. So you could say, well, actually, I know you had an amount specified in your advertisement, and I'd be very happy to start at that level, but I would like to see maybe a plan over 3 years. That gives you an opportunity to say what your expectations are over a 3-year period. So now we're going to look at questions I haven't prepared for. And if you remember at the very beginning of the program, I told you that being successful at interview is all about preparation. So for example, if you fail to prepare, then you're admitting that you are prepared to fail. And that's not a runner if you actually want to get the job. So you need to remember to check your CV, go through everything that you've actually put into your CV for this specific employer, and then check if there's any inconsistencies or check if there's any time gaps in there. Secondly, you need to remember that if somebody asks you a question that perhaps you weren't quite prepared to hear, that you have quite a lot of skill sets you want to sell. So you literally offer a politician's answer by telling the answer of the skill sets that you want the employer to hear, and you fit them in with that question. And of course, last but not least, remember just to stay very calm and just answer the question with confidence. So now we get to the part of the question section, which is where you get to ask questions of the interviewer. So quite often an interviewer will say, well, did you have any questions that you'd like to ask before we finish? And if you're given the opportunity, it's very important to have questions that are going to be valuable to ask. So therefore, you want to break those questions into two sections. You want to break them into job-specific questions that are going to give you more information about the job that you're interviewing for. And then you want to actually have aspirational questions, which tell you a little bit more about the culture and the goals of the company. Next time on Get That Job, we're off to interview. So I'll be telling you all about body language and interview etiquette. And I'll be showing you how to build your confidence and motivate yourself by using a job interview pipeline.